The Rockets roll into Portland on a 4-game winning streak, led by Western Conference Player of the Week, Kevin Martin. The Blazers have had to battle injuries, but remain in the playoff race. LaMarcus Aldridge has been Nate McMillan's mainstay throughout the season. A win tonight in the Rose Garden will raise the Rockets' record to 31-31. Rockets and Blazers next on Fox Sports Houston. From the Rose Garden in the Great Northwest, Fox Sports Houston presents Rockets basketball. Tonight, the Rockets in Portland to take on the Trailblazers. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Worrell. Good to have you with us here tonight. The Rockets with a great road record going right now. They have won 5 games in a row here on the road, taking on the Portland Trailblazers. It's a tough place to play, but the Rockets come in here, Matt Bullard, with the Player of the Week in the NBA. Kevin Martin has been sensational.
Well, he has been on fire, and if you take a look at his shooting percentages of this week, look at that. Over 50% from the field, over 40% from the three-point line, over 90% from the free throw line. He has really been getting it done. He's got 3 straight 30-point games, and the Rockets have needed every one of those points for the wins that they've gotten. The Rockets have really been playing some good basketball since the trading deadline, and their leading scorer, Kevin Martin, has been leading the way.
Yeah, both of these teams have had a lot of injuries this season, but Brandon Roy, when he was injured, LaMarcus Aldridge had to carry the load for the Portland Trailblazers. He's become a much better player since Brandon Roy was gone. Now he's back. So that means Luis Scola's got a tough load tonight.
Yeah, Luis Scola is going to have a big matchup tonight, and Luis in the last game sprained his right knee. Now he will be starting tonight. He said he feels fine. I don't think that'll slow him down any, but he will be playing against a great power forward in LaMarcus Aldridge. Aldridge has been averaging 31 points and 10 rebounds in the month of February here at home. The Rockets have got to find a way to get him out of the paint and keep him under control.
And this is a Portland team that just picked up Gerald Wallace. He'll be playing his second game tonight.
Yeah, Gerald Wallace was very nervous in his first game here in Portland. I expect he'll be just fine tonight.
Well, this new-look Rockets team playing very well. We'll see if they can get to 500. It's Rockets and the Trailblazers coming up next on Fox Sports Houston. Again, everybody, and we welcome you back to the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon, as we get ready for NBA action tonight. Rockets will be taking on the Blazers. Let's check the starting lineups now for the Houston Rockets. It'll be Chase Budinger, Luis Scola, Chuck Hayes, Kevin Martin, and Kyle Lowry. For the Trailblazers tonight, Nicholas Batum, LaMarcus Aldridge, Marcus Camby, Wesley Matthews, and Andre Miller. And the Player of the Week in the Western Conference in the NBA, Kevin Martin, who has put together 3 games in a row, 30-plus points, and he's averaging 27 points for last week. He's got to keep it going tonight for the Rockets to get a road victory. Rose Garden, one of the loudest arenas in the NBA, as they get ready to announce the starting lineup for Portland. The Portland Trailblazers getting some new faces here after a big trade several days ago. One of those is Gerald Wallace. He will not be in the starting lineup tonight, but he's expected to be within the next several games. And for the Houston Rockets, they've got Chase Budinger in the lineup now, starting for Houston. Marcus Camby was injured. He was out for a while, and he's back in the lineup. So they got some injured players back. Also coming off the bench is Brandon Roy, who is normally a starter, Matt.
Yeah, you just saw Nicholas Batum there. He's the guy who's starting in that spot that Brandon Roy had before he had his knee surgeries. And Gerald Wallace is another guy that figures into that mix. The Portland Trailblazers are solidly in the playoff race right now, and they've got to try to, Nate McMillan's got to try to get everything organized in the last 20 games of the season.
Nate McMillan doing a heck of a job. Played and started his coaching career in Seattle, came down here to Portland, and some people say he may be the coach of the year in the NBA if it's not down the way, because Rick Adelman has done just a super job. These two coaches have kept these teams afloat, even though they've had to play through a lot of serious injuries all season long. And we know about Rick back in Houston and the job he's done. And now he's only 3 victories away from Dick Motta, his old mentor and his first coach when he played for the Chicago Bulls. And Dick Motta, number 10 all-time in victories, and Rick's right behind him. And, of course, down the way, one of the assistants for Nate McMillan is Bernie Bickerstaff, who started his coaching career in 1973 under Dick Motta. So there's always that type of connection always in the NBA between the old and the new. Here are the Toyota keys to the game.
Well, the first key is you're going to have to play Aldridge tough. He's had quite a year. He's the focus of Portland's offense. The Rockets don't like to double, and so if they play him one-on-one, you got to make sure you play him tough. Key number 2, offensive movement for the Rockets. They've done a really nice job of moving without the basketball. They need to get out on the fast break as well. And then key number 3, total effort for the Rockets. This is the first game of a back-to-back for them. They had yesterday off. They need to have fresh legs and come out and play as hard as they possibly can.
I thought in New Orleans the other night, Chuck Hayes had a great game. Luis Scola injured his knee. He went out in the second half, but Patrick Patterson came in, played very well. Jordan Hill played well for a couple of minutes. Brad Miller had a great game off the bench for Houston, and Courtney Lee. So Scola will be going tonight. He's an iron horse. It's hard to keep him on the bench. He says his knee still hurts a little bit.
Well, he's played 307 straight games. He's never missed a game in his NBA career. He did sprain that knee, and I'm sure a lot of guys would have sat out tonight, but Scola's not one of those guys.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy. He's not playing for the streak. He's playing because he's a basketball player.
Yep. He's that type of player, and Goran Dragic, who had food poisoning in New Orleans, is now healthy and back with the team, and he's on the active list to come off the bench tonight. So this has always been a tough series between these two teams. It's usually a home and home. They're only playing 3 times this year. Portland won the first 2, so they have won the season series with Houston in case there's a tie for the final playoff spot. And that's usually pretty big. The Rockets have the tiebreaker against Memphis. So we'll see how that transpires as the year goes on. Batum on the outside, and he gives it up to Miller. Miller having a comeback season this year. He's a veteran, been around a long time. Wesley Matthews puts it up and in. Was that the best free agent signing in the offseason?
You know, they signed him from Utah, and they front-loaded the contract so Utah could not match. And Wesley Matthews has taken off, and he's quite an NBA player now. And he's had the opportunity with Brandon Roy being injured.
Lowry puts it up with a miss, and the rebound goes to Batum. Now, a lot of people said that Jerry Sloan was really unhappy with that Utah was not able to match. He wanted to keep Matthews around.
And Matthews, his dad played in the NBA, so he knows what it takes to be an NBA player. And the word on Matthews is he is very, very mentally tough.
Player of the week in the NBA, Kevin Martin with a steal. He had 4 steals in New Orleans to go along with his 30-plus points, 13 for 13 from the free throw line for Kmart. He had 33 points. There's Lowry taking it inside. Nice pass to Hayes, and he had it blocked by Camby. Year in, year out, Marcus Camby has been one of the leading shot blockers in the NBA. Gets his first here, and Batum to the basket. Nicholas Batum, who actually was drafted by the Houston Rockets.
He made a nice baseline cut. Got an easy basket because Bud was not able to stay with him.
Scola down low. Camby a little late. They double-team Scola
right away.
And Scola goes to the free throw line, and boy, that's a tough shot. Camby had a hand in his face.
I think that ball was actually deflected up into the air. Scola had the look on his face like he had no idea that one was actually going to go in.
You'll take him any way you can get him. Aldridge way outside. He'll work in on the post when they need him. There's Miller back outside. Camby, and he's a little outside his range. The rebound goes to Martin. Camby's not a bad outside shooter, but he's usually from around 14 or 15 feet. That was a little too far out. And knocked out of bounds by Matthews.
See what the Blazers are doing. They're doubling the Rockets all over the court. They're doubling Luis Scola on the post as soon as he catches the ball. They're doubling the pick and rolls very, very hard. That is a Nate McMillan / George Karl when he was a Seattle Supersonics coach, defensive principal.
Coming off the curl, Budinger with a miss on the jump. Switch now, and Budinger's on Miller. Batum wants to take that mismatch. He turns and fires over Lowry.
Well, I don't know why the Rockets switched that. Andre Miller is the type of player that can post up as well. He's a point guard that can post up. He can also knock Kyle Lowry into the first row with no whistle. I don't know what was going on with that, but the Rockets are going to have to play some good one-on-one defense tonight.
Portland, one of the best home teams in the NBA. Year in and year out. Scola with a nice drive, goes up and under. Now Scola's coming off of an off night against the Hornets. He doesn't have 2 bad games back-to-back, never has. And so I expect him to play big tonight.
Yeah, you talk about toughness, Luis Scola is that guy. He's got that little bit of a knee sprain, and he asked Keith Jones, the Rockets trainer, said, will it slow me down? Doesn't look like it tonight, does it?
Well, he said that's all relative. Depends on how quick you think you are to start with. That's a loose ball foul.
Watch this
Camby.
Watch this rebound by Scola. Gets up and then over the back by Camby. Scola's trying to protect that knee as they go down to the ground, but that's just toughness right there.
Well, Camby trying to use him as a pillow to break his fall. There's Budinger coming off a pick now, giving it back to Lowry. Lowry goes down to Hayes. Hayes turns inside on Aldridge, keeps his dribble alive, and traveling is called on the chuck wagon. Bill Kennedy, Benny Adams, and Brent Barnagy. Barnagy, Adams, and Kennedy tonight your officials.
Barnagy?
Yes.
Barnagy, that guy owes me money.
And what's that from?
That's from
Stripes. Huh?
That's from Stripes, one of my favorite movies.
Lowry with a steal. Batum's waiting for a block, but he won't block Budinger. Good pass by Lowry.
Good pass, 3-on-1, and you got to pick out the guy who's got the biggest hops when you're in that situation. And Bud did a nice job of going up strong to finish.
Batum has got a lot of length. Miller looking inside now. Aldridge gives him a pick. Lowry was able to go around. Oh, boy, right around Hayes. Aldridge, and that's going to be a charge. Well, what a good job of coming over by Luis Scola.
Yeah, Chuck Hayes was totally beat on that play by Aldridge. But Scola is able to come over. Watch Scola. There he is right there, getting over, getting outside the restricted area. That's great help defense right there.
Game tied at 6. Martin gives it right back to Scola, who's open, uses the glass for 2 more, and Luis off to a terrific 3-for-3 start.
Easy play there by Scola and Martin. They knew that the double team was coming. They set the Blazers up.
That's a problem with the double team, and now Scola's called this time for blocking. And Camby will go to the free throw line.
Let's see if he got there.
Nope.
Well, it was close. And Scola didn't like it because he was able to get the charge on the previous play.
Camby's been around a long time. In fact, he was mentioned, this is his 15th season in the NBA out of UMass. And a lot of people mentioned him in some trade rumors, and he said, well, if I'm traded, I will retire unless I'm traded to Houston, because he has a home in Houston. So he said that would be the only possibility. And
you couldn't make that happen?
I could not make it happen. I'm sorry. But he's going to finish out his career here in Portland, it looks like.
Is this the last year of his contract?
They got him, I don't know the answer to that. Budinger, nice move, lays it up and in. Hey, he's been to the Scola Scoop School.
That would be the Triple S?
That's it. The Triple S Academy. Aldridge, almost a pickoff by Martin. Now all alone in the corner is Matthews.
There's an example of if you go for a steal and you don't get it, your defense gets broken down.
Lowry takes a tour through the lane. And Scola again from the outside, and he is on fire. Luis Scola 4 for 4 to start the game. Batum giving it up to Aldridge now. What a post-up player he's become. Swinging around to Matthews. Matthews covered up by Scola. Good defense by Luis. Lowry in the open court. He'll push it. And wait for help. Hayes goes to the right side. Use the left hand. Boy, he went around. Camby was not prepared for that.
Camby has not seen the wagon wheel, has he?
No, see, he hasn't. You know, Chuck Hayes really shocking people now. He's come up with some nice, effective moves in the paint, and he doesn't hesitate to go to it.
Hey, Cornbread Warrell, did you have some of those before the game?
Some. I had a bunch. About halfway through the first quarter, Rockets with the lead. It's 2 hot dogs, 2 large beers or sodas, 2 coaster packs starting at only $52. Call 713-627-DUNK or log on to Rockets.com. You'll get more than a bead. Nicholas Batum.
While you were discussing that, the Rockets went to double team LaMarcus Aldridge. That's an adjustment that they made during that timeout. And if you double someone on the post, what you're giving up is 3-point shots.
Look at him running after Martin. Scola taking it inside, spins it up and in. Now, with double teaming Martin, they're leaving Scola one-on-one. And oh, steal by Lowry, lays it up and in. Kyle Lowry. Caught him going, taking a little nap.
And that inbounds play is basically the most basic play in basketball.
Batum gets outside, and Lowry with the rebound. Wallace is checked in for Portland now. Budinger goes baseline. And an offensive foul on Chase Budinger. Brandon Roy will check in. You know, having Wallace and Roy come in is like still having a starting team out there.
Well, that's 2 All-Stars, 2 guys that have played in All-Star games coming off your bench. So LaMarcus Aldridge goes to the center position. Wallace is your power forward, and Brandon Roy is your 3.
That probably will be the lineup in there at the end of the game, too. LaMarcus Aldridge. That time Wallace missed the shot. Boy, he was wide open.
He said that he was very nervous in his first game in a Blazers uniform. He said it was as nervous as he's been since he was a rookie.
Hayes gets the ball back. Boy, he just muscled Matthews right out of there, and then he throws it away. Miller. Matthews takes it down to Wallace. Matthews puts up a 3, short, and Hayes battles for the rebound. Aldridge comes out of there with it. Boy, Wallace just took it away, didn't he?
Well, you're seeing what Jared Wallace does. He plays at a very high energy level, gets steals, and they call Kevin Martin for a carry on that move.
That's a terrible call.
Wallace is a type of player that every team would love to have, a very high energy guy. When we watched him play in a Charlotte Bobcat uniform, he was very, very good defender, very athletic, loves to play in an up-tempo system. I think he's really going to help the Blazers.
They didn't have to give up much to get him either, did they? Gave up a couple of #1 draft choices, and LaMarcus Aldridge goes for the slam, and it doesn't go down. Up to Martin now. Martin takes it inside, off the glass, missed it. Pretty good defensive job by Brandon Roy. Back down to LaMarcus Aldridge, misses again, and Lowry going to lead the team in rebounding. And he's fouled on the play by Miller. 4 rebounds and 5 assists for Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, he's got 2 steals as well, so he's really been active so far this game, and Andre Miller just took that foul at center court to kind of slow the pace of the game down.
Well, Miller didn't want to chase him down the other end.
Well, Portland's not a high-scoring team. They average under 100 points a game. The Rockets are a very high-scoring team.
Martin goes to the basket for 2 and 1. How did that ball go in? He was behind the backboard. Boy, what a sensational move by Kevin Martin. Has that great first step, and he puts it up, and he's fouled. Be sure to stay tuned for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moments later in tonight's game.
Well, so far the greatness has been Luis Scola. Remember, Luis had that slightly sprained right knee and was thought he might be questionable for tonight, but obviously not. He's 5 for 5. He's got 10 points and a rebound. And remember, the Blazers were double teaming him on the post at the start of the game, and Luis was able to change his game from being on the post to those jumpers from outside immediately. He's been very, very effective here in the first quarter.
Kevin Martin had 13 of 13 from the free throw line in New Orleans. He's now made his first here for a three-point play the old-fashioned way, and the Rockets now with their biggest lead of the game, 6 points. Miller matched up with Lowry out front. Lowry off to a terrific start. Down to Aldridge. Aldridge becomes quite a post-up. They double-team him. That leaves Brandon Roy wide open. He misses the three. And Miller with the rebound and takes it up and in. Point guards are getting on the boards tonight.
Well, the Rockets are in rotation now. They're doubling on the post, on the pass, and they have to rotate out of that. You give up outside jump shots, and it's difficult to rebound out of that kind of defense because you don't have a guy that you're with to box out.
Lowry gets a pick, takes it inside. Nowhere to go. Now he goes back to Martin. Shot clock down to 5. Martin throws it up from Willamette.
and not only that, but he hit it.
You know where the Willamette River is? It's a little piece from here.
It was right where Kevin shot it from.
Wallace to the basket. Wow, what an explosive move. 24-19 Houston. Rockets shooting 73% so far in the game. Hayes taking it in on Wallace. A little hook. Missed it. Andre Miller. He'll shoot up the jumper. That's not his forte. He can get that jumper in the paint, though. He reminds you a little bit of Sam Cassell. He can always get his shot, can't he?
Yeah, he's not a three-point shooter. He's got a nice mid-range game.
Knocked out of Lowry's hands. Wallace up court to Miller. So that's 2 steals for Wallace since he checked in a couple of minutes ago. 5 turnovers by Houston, 4 turnovers by the Blazers. Lowry's open, hits a 3. Boy, can anybody play better than Kyle Lowry's played the last 5 games?
Well, he's already got 6 assists, and then he just knocked down that three-point shot. He's a guy that loves a challenge.
That's a tough cover for Budinger on Brandon Roy.
That's a tough cover for anybody. I'm interested to see how Brandon Roy is moving. Remember, he had knee surgery on both knees.
Lowry says, let me keep shooting it. Another 3 for Kyle Lowry.
Hey, if you're hot, keep shooting.
If you're hot, you're hot. 7-point lead, biggest of the game for the Rockets here in the first quarter with 24 seconds left. Brandon Roy going to back Lowry down. Now over to Wallace. Wallace fires. Oh, man. Gerald Wallace with a 3. I think he's not nervous anymore.
Now, when you're a player, and once you get the blood flowing, you get the sweat going, those nerves go away.
No shot clock, down to 8 seconds left in the first quarter. Lowry gets a step, and he's fouled by Brandon Roy. They had one to give. Both teams had one to give. We haven't had a lot of whistles. So we'll have just under 6 seconds left in the quarter. Miller will come out. Batum will come in for defense.
Yeah, this game right now is in the favor of the Rockets. The Rockets love an up-tempo game, a high-scoring game. The Blazers are not that kind of a team. They like to keep the game under 100 if they can.
Over to Hayes. Back to Lowry again. Lowry steps back, fires, and misses. So a good first quarter for the Houston Rockets. The Rockets score 30 points on 68% shooting. And here at the end of one in Portland, lead by 4. Rockets win the first quarter by 4. Well, Rick Adelman coming back home. He lives in Oswego. And he coached here the first 6 years of his NBA career. And he was an assistant to Jack Ramsey and then became the head coach. And one of the winningest coaches all time in Portland history, percentage-wise, went to a couple of NBA finals with the Portland Trailblazers. So it's always good for he and RJ to come home.
Yeah, Rick Adelman has the highest winning percentage as a coach here in Portland history. He also has the highest winning percentage as a coach in Rockets history.
Great pass from Martin as he got it over to Miller. It'll be Courtney Lee. Martin will stay in the game. Goran Dragic is in the game now for Houston. Brad Miller stays in with Scola. Brandon Roy gets a step, lays it up and in. Boy, Courtney Lee was playing him to his left side.
Yeah, he was forcing Brandon Roy to go right, and I think he was expecting to have some help, and there was no help there at all.
Martin, look at him chase Martin. It's obvious he's number one. Yeah, now he's got Camby on him. He should win that. He does. Sets up Miller. Miller misses. Sure like to see him. He's going to be open a lot tonight. Hope he's on target. And a foul is called on Dragic.
It's going to be an interesting matchup with Dragic and Patty Mills for the Blazers. Patty Mills had a couple huge games against the Rockets this season. Actually his career high against the Rockets with Aaron Brooks guarding him. So now Dragic has the challenge of guarding Patty Mills, who is a very high energy, quick player.
Out of St. Mary's, Patrick Patterson has come in for Scola. Good defense by, well, what are you going to do about that?
Yeah, that was
as good a defense you can have.
But Gerald Wallace is a great player.
So he's done a good job with 7 points in 7 minutes, and the Rockets lead by 2. Martin gets a step. That's going to be an easy 2. Batum's looking around like, give me some help, fellas.
And Gerald Wallace just patted his chest saying, that's my fault. Jared Wallace is still trying to get acclimated to the Portland system. Defensively, he missed the help defense there.
Patty Mills off the glass for 2. Dragic, left-hander from Slovenia. Played on that national team with Boki Nakbar, who played in Houston. Down to Patterson. Patterson working on Wallace with the jump hook. Missed it. Going to be a really tough cover for the rookie Patterson now. He's going to take all of his experience.
Patterson got the block on that one.
Yeah,
though.
he did. Back door to Brandon Roy. Missed it. Patterson with the rebound. Courtney Lee. Nice little crossover by Courtney. And Patterson goes flying in for the rebound. Fresh 24 for Houston. Nice little fake. Martin gets a foul. Almost got the basket. That's going to be 3. Let's see, 3 free throws for Kevin Martin.
Watch this rebound from Patrick Patterson. Patterson sees where it's going. He goes and gets it from outside the lane. But the problem here on this foul for Kevin Martin is he got his right wrist hurt as he fell on the ground.
Did you see Camby? Camby looked around and said, who was that guy? Those are the numbers for Kevin Martin, Player of the Week in the NBA. He's number 9 now in scoring in the NBA at 23 a game. And he's number 10 in free throw percentage at almost 89%. I think that wrist is still hurting him a little bit. That's the first miss he's had now. He had made 15 in a row.
Yeah, he's trying to shake that off. If you're a shooter and you hurt your right wrist or your right fingers, that's the worst possible scenario.
Kevin has scored 10 of the last 19 for Houston. Wallace on the drive. Another great defensive play by Patterson. Dragic behind the back, goes right by Mills, lays it up and in. What a move by Goran.
Soren Goran right down the lane. That's what he's known for on the break. He's an excellent finisher at the rim. Soren Goran, welcome to Houston.
All I can say for this one is Goran gone. Rockets up by 6, 8:59 left to play here in the second quarter.
Well, Bill, how's that cornbread diet been working for you to get into your talks?
It's just perfect. I'm going to fit into it nicely as soon as I order my new one.
Well,
I have a new one on the way.
I figured all the cornbread we've had on this trip, we had cornbread today, yesterday, the day before. I figured that was what you were working on.
I am. It absolutely is work. Well, Terrence Williams checks in, and the first thing he does.
There's that basket of cornbread. The problem is that picture was taken earlier tonight. Right now, if you were to go back there would be no cornbread left.
Well, who did that?
I don't know. I thought it was you.
You know, you're pretty good at pointing the accusatory finger. But you usually help quite a bit. I noticed last night.
What? I had, well.
Who had the cornbread with me?
I had cornbread too.
Mm-hmm.
And Perry had cornbread.
Yeah, so what are you guys talking to me about?
Well, we like it as much as you do.
Oh, man. Batum gets the free throw. 38-34. Little press now by the Blazers. Courtney Lee over to Patterson. And
nice
great pass by Goran.
See, Dragic is a true point guard. He's got the skills to be able to penetrate into the lane, but you saw there when he didn't have anything, he was able to find his teammate.
And a block by Goran on Patty Mills. Patterson was there to help him out, too. So Patrick with a couple of blocks now in the game, and Dragic puts it up, and it's off the front of the iron. Batum picked up by Courtney Lee. Going to go down now to Aldridge, and he's fouled by Brad Miller.
I can tell by Brad Miller's body language, he's not happy with that call. But take a look at this. Goran Dragic driving it in the paint, and as Aldridge comes over to block it, he's able to find Patterson with a nice finish.
Over to Aldridge now. He'll work on Miller. Turns the other way, and good defense. Got a little help on one side. And Terrence Williams will bring it up. He might be able to beat Mills one-on-one. Short. Going for the steal, Courtney Lee. Wallace.
Oh, that's a travel.
That is a travel. Thank you.
Well, out of the three of them, three officials, they finally saw that one. You have to put the ball down on the ground before you jump in the air.
Well, he tried to do it after he came back down. I used to do that all the time because I was gravity challenged.
Gravity challenge?
Mm-hmm.
You were on the cornbread diet even back then, huh?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Terrence Williams takes it in. Back over to Patterson. Patterson puts up the jumper for two. I'm telling you, this rookie is not a rookie anymore. He's played too many games.
Well, if you look at the roster the Rockets have on the court right now, no starters on the court. It's a whole second unit.
Patty Mills lays it up and got it. Pressure again by Portland. Dragic beats it. Always looking for penetration. That defense. Got a little too much.
Pretty good flop there by Batum.
Yeah.
Dragic, like you say, Bill, he's always looking to penetrate that defense. And watch this. Oh, my goodness. Hey, the Oscar meter comes out, and I give him a 10.
Well, I'll give him a 9.
You got a 9? Okay, Bill's got a 9. He just won the Oscar.
My goodness. We can flop with him, too, so we'll see what happens. Miller's a good one. And a good job by Miller to force the turnover.
That's a bad angle to pass the ball into your post-up guy. Andre Miller needs to drag that over to the wing to get a little better angle to pass.
Over to Patterson. Patterson got Wallace right behind him. Miller gives it up to Courtney Lee, who's open for the shot. Oh, Patrick Patterson! Wow!
That got about 6 people in this building up out of their seats.
44-37. Me, one of them. Almost ripped my headset off. Did you see him? He looked like he came off a trampoline or something. And a foul called on Houston. Called on Courtney Lee. Oh, Patterson limping a little bit on that left foot. Maybe it's because he went up so high. Look at Patrick Patterson sail up in the air for an easy 2. 44-37 Houston. 5:58 left to play in the second quarter. Here is tonight's Subway Bullseye.
Well, this is a play for Courtney Lee. Courtney's got the ball. He's going to pass it in to Patterson. Go ahead and let that happen. Now Patterson's going to pass it over here to Brad Miller and go set a pick. Now, stop it right here. Patterson sets the pick. Courtney Lee's coming off. Watch Patterson's man, Gerald Wallace, step out to get the shooter. That gives Patterson a free lane to the basket. He times it. He gets up. He throws down on the tip dunk. Very nicely done by the rookie. Wow, that was athletic.
Did you see Andre Miller? He said, "What am I doing in here?" He was in
the picture. That's all he was doing.
2 block shots already for Patrick Patterson, and boy, is he learning on the fly. Matthews with the free throw. Portland now 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Rockets 3 for 4. Rockets already have 11 assists in their 19 baskets. Rockets number 4 in the NBA in assists.
That's right. And both teams are very good free throw shooting teams too. The Blazers are 3rd in the NBA, right ahead of the Rockets. Blazers are shooting 80% from that line. In a zone now for the Blazers.
So how do you attack it?
You got to penetrate the zone either by dribbling it or passing it.
Terrence Williams with the miss from the outside.
Rockets did neither of them that time. Don't settle for the first open jumper.
And a nice pass to Aldridge, but he couldn't control it. And that's the 7th turnover for the Trailblazers. Rockets have scored 10 points off the Blazers' 7 turnovers.
And Aldridge has got 2 points on 1 for 4 shooting. So the Rockets are doing a pretty nice job on him so far.
Shot clock, plenty of time, 8 seconds. Lowry takes it in, gets the little short jumper short. Miller finds Batum in the corner, and he gets it right back. Nice pickup by Courtney Lee. Did you see that defense?
Tough shot there by Batum. That's just not a good shot. Courtney Lee had him covered.
Lowry will set up the offense now, and look at the mismatches. Lowry's got Aldridge on him, and that means Miller's got the shot. He misses the 3, and the rebound to Batum. Nicholas Batum off to the races. Courtney Lee almost got it. Andre Miller sets it up for Portland. Aldridge taking it inside, and a foul on Courtney Lee. And for Courtney, that's his 2nd foul of the game. So he's got 2, and Dragic came up with 3 while he was in there. And now Williams will go out, Lee will go out, Martin and Buttinger come back in for Houston.
Really nice job by the 2nd unit of the Rockets. Thought they played very well. Courtney Lee, that last foul, I think that was a bad call. But when you're LaMarcus Aldridge, you get lots of calls.
Well, Brandon Roy was the first option. He came to the team about the same time Aldridge did, and Aldridge just kind of hung around the outside. He didn't go in the post very much so he could clear the middle. And then Brandon Roy got hurt, and they said, Aldridge, you're going to have to be another type of player. And he really took to the post up very well. Now he's the first option.
Well, here's the thing about the Blazers. They have a coach on their bench, Dean Cooper, who was a coach with the Rockets when I was playing. And Coop talked to LaMarcus Aldridge this year. He said, you want to be a good player or do you want to be an all-star?
And Buttinger takes it in, and a charge is called on Chase.
There's Coop right there. And Coop told Aldridge, he said, if you want to be an all-star, you got to get down on that block, and you got to be tough, and you got to make the defender be afraid of you down there on the post. Coop's done a really nice job here in Portland of getting LaMarcus Aldridge to where he's at.
You know, Aldridge very physical now, loves that post up. That was a close call right there on Bud. I thought he was up in the air before that defensive play. And now the Blazers trying to get within a couple. Aldridge inside and traveling. Yes. As soon as he passed it, he'd already taken an extra step. Miller.
The Blazers now have 8 turnovers. Rockets have 10 points off of those 8 turnovers, and the Blazers are among the league leaders in fewest turnovers per game.
Yeah, they only make 13 a contest. And that's going to be a foul this time on Portland.
Well, Bud just keeps trying it, doesn't he? I mean, he takes it in there. He got a charging foul last time, which was a dubious call.
Yes.
And this time he comes in and keeps attacking. That's the way Bud has been playing since the trade deadline. He's been attacking the rim, trying to get some easier baskets, and then that sets up his jump shot to be his second option.
Also gets that guy back on his heels. You know, they've been guarding him, but that three-point line very close. You can't do that when he's flying by you. And now Brandon Roy back into the game. Boy, he had surgery on both knees. Batum will come out, and Brandon Roy, what was he out, about 5 weeks?
Yeah, he didn't have, the surgery wasn't major for Brandon Roy. It was just sort of a clean-out procedure, but he's playing with literally no cartilage in his knees. The pain that he's got to deal with every single night has just got to be great.
Aldridge picked up by the Chuck Wagon. Takes it inside and gets it over to Wallace. Good pickup by Budinger, and Brandon Roy misses, and the rebound to Martin. Good defensive rotation by Houston. 3:20 left to play in the first half. Scola goes to work, looks around, sees a double team, finds Budinger, who finds Lowry. Lowry continues. Go find the hot man. That's 3 threes for Kyle Lowry.
3 for 5 for him behind the arc. He's the guy that the Blazers are giving the shot to, and he's knocking it down.
Rockets now with their biggest lead of 9 points. Miller, short. Rebound to Martin. Rockets love to run. Averaging 105 points a game. Scola has got it. Rockets very patient, working it around, trying to find that open man. Kmart has got Miller on him. He takes it right to the basket, floats it up, and it won't go in. Tough luck shot by Kmart. Budinger waiting in the wings. This is a 3-on-2 fast break. Martin will try his layup, and he missed it. Lowry saves it, and somebody gets a lapful of Kyle Lowry.
Oh my goodness, he made it into the second row.
Oh, hold on to your tickets. Rockets leading by 9 points, 2:21 left to play in the first half.
Kyle Lowry has gotten off to a very good start. He started off by attacking the rim, but now he's been knocking down three-point shots. He's 3 for 5 behind the arc. He's feeling it. He's looking for his shot, but his teammates are finding him. He's got 11 points and 6 assists with 2 steals already tonight.
Andre Miller, Matthews in the backcourt for Portland. Aldridge, Wallace, and Roy. Roy trying to get by Kevin Martin. Good defense. Scola comes over to help. Now peels out on Wallace. 1-on-1. Wallace flies by and missed the layup. Buddinger's already underneath. Martin gets the ball up. He takes it to the basket for 2. Brandon Roy couldn't stay with it. Wow, what a move.
Well, the Blazers know that Kevin Martin gets to that free throw line. Andre Miller, the previous time, and Brandon Roy that time, they're getting out of the way, trying not to foul Martin.
26 points in the paint by Houston, and a 7-0 run by Houston. 1:34 left to play here in the first half. Down to Scola. He had Wallace on him. Back to Lowry. Lowry dribbles, takes the shot, and missed it. Boy, he was wide open. Over to Wallace again. Gets a step on Scola. Good defense. Hayes with the ball. Buddinger's already underneath. Martin's at the three-point line. Waits. Nope. He's off. And the rebound to Roy. The numbers favor Portland now, but the Rockets did a good job of getting back. Roy back to Miller, and he hits.
That was pretty good defense there by the Rockets in transition, getting back.
.49 seconds. Rockets can go 2 for 1 on possessions. Scola missed it, and Hayes had the rebound, and Roy knocks it away. Now they can go 2 for 1. Matthews back to Wallace. He'll shoot the jumper. That's flat. And Budinger had it knocked away by Aldridge. So the Rockets now can go for the final shot. Difference of about almost 2 seconds. Shot clock, game clock. Rockets leading by 9, looking for their largest lead if they can get a basket here. Lowry gets a step. They had a foul to give, and Rick came out and told Lowry to make a move, right?
That was good coaching there by Rick to make sure that his point guard knew to go early. Now the Rockets have 9.2 seconds left. That shot clock is now not part of it.
And now Miller comes in for Hayes for shooting purposes. So both teams now will be in the penalty for the final 9 seconds. Lowry working on Aldridge, steps back, fires, and got it at the buzzer. Kyle Lowry, what a first half for the little guy. 13 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds for Lowry. Martin had 12, Scola had 10. And the Rockets at the buzzer with their biggest lead of the first half, 53-42. Stay tuned. The Lexus halftime report is next. Don't go away.
A very good first half of basketball for the Houston Rockets as they have their second 11-point largest lead of the game, 53-42 at halftime. As we welcome you to the Lexus halftime report, Rockets looking for their 6th consecutive road win. Kevin Eschenfelder with you in our Fox Sports Houston studios. Everybody contributing so far in this first half. None better, though, than Kyle Lowry, the way he's been able to fill up the box score. 13.6 rebounds and 4 assists for Kyle Lowry. Rockets holding Portland to just 16 points in the second period on 5 of 17 shooting in the second quarter. The Rockets, who shot nearly 70% in the first period, shooting better than 50-50 in the first half. 52% shooting for the Rockets on 22 of 42 from the floor. Portland at 42%. Rockets -2 as far as the free throws are concerned, but they cancel that out with 1 more three-pointers. They've made 4 in the first half, doing a decent job taking care of the basketball, forcing 10 turnovers from the Portland Trailblazers and 12 assists on 22 made field goals. Luis Scola, 1 of 3 Rockets in double figures with 10 points on 5 of 6 shooting in the first period. First half, Rockets lead 53-42. Back with more in the Lexus halftime report in a moment. Lowry with 13, 12 for Martin, and 10 for Scola. The Rockets lead by 11 at halftime. Bill and Bull right around the corner. Second half coming up here on Fox Sports Houston. We'll see you again coming up on the postgame show. Third quarter's next.
Rockets went on a 9-2 run in the final 3:40 of the second quarter, taking an 11-point lead at halftime. Let's check out tonight's United States Marines, leaders of the game. Kyle Lowry's putting up an impressive line tonight so far with 13 points. Nicholas Batum with 10 points for Portland. Matt, right now the Rockets are moving the basketball very well. They started out double teaming the ball. That didn't do well for Portland. They've changed their defenses several times, but the Rockets have been right on top of it.
Well, the pace of this game really favors the Rockets. They're playing to their style. They're getting out on the fast break. They're attacking the rim. The Rockets are doing a nice job scoring points in the paint, and they're also knocking down their outside jump shots. So the Rockets have got a nice formula going. Let's hope they can keep it going in the second half.
Yeah, you got to keep hitting those shots. Of course, it'll get tougher as the game goes on, but I like the way the Rockets are playing right now. They're doing a good job. As you take a look at the scoring, the Rockets with 13 for Lowry, Martin with 12, and Scola with 10. Boy, he got off to a great start. Scola is 5 for 6 tonight.
And where's Aldridge? Where's his name on there? He's only got 3 points in that first half, LaMarcus Aldridge does. And it looks to me like the Blazers are trying to incorporate their new player, Gerald Wallace, into their game plan, and they've forgotten about LaMarcus Aldridge here so far.
Well, they didn't forget about him in Houston in that second game of the year in Houston. Aldridge had a huge fourth quarter. They were 13 points down to Houston. They came back and won that game. So I'm sure they'll find out where he is before long. They better. Rockets will have the ball to start the third, and Portland gets it to start the fourth. Scola got it. He thought he'd missed it. And he was going to follow it, and it just was able to sneak in the left side.
Well, Scola's one of those guys. Some nights his jumper is off. Tonight his jumper is on. He needs to keep shooting that jumper.
Yeah, that jumper is going well for him. There's the double team on Aldridge, so they swing it around to Batum. And Batum with a miss. And quickly, Budinger took off to the other end for the slam, and the Rockets now building their largest lead of the game.
Good job by Bud. If you're going to challenge a three-point shooter, after you get your hand up, get out on the break, and Kevin Martin saw him streaking down the court.
All right, Hayes right behind Aldridge again. They've been helping the Chuck Wagon a little bit. This time they don't. Aldridge misses, and Scola had it tipped by Camby right to Budinger, who gives it up to Lowry. Lowry across to Bud. Bud stops at the baseline, fires and hits. The Rockets start out with 3 baskets in a row, and they move it out to a 17-point lead.
Now the fans are seeing here that the Rockets have taken control, and they're trying to inject a little energy into this building. Very good fans here in Portland. They're very basketball knowledgeable.
Miller with the jumper. Goes all the way back to that 77 championship with Bill Walton. Jack Ramsey was the coach. They called it Rip City back then, and they've always had great franchises. Our good friend Clyde Drexler played on 2 NBA finalist teams under Rick.
What a pass.
Wow. Hayes to Budinger for the slam. And they've seen enough. Nate McMillan calls a timeout. The Rockets come out of the gate in the third quarter and outscore Portland 8-2. 61-44 Houston. Let's take a look at tonight's Progressive Insurance Above the Rim replay.
Well, first of all, look at that pass from Chuck Hayes behind the back. And then look at the finish by Chase Budinger. This play, the curl Bud going inside, is one of his staples. And Chase Budinger's got 12 points tonight on 5 of 6 shooting, throwing 4 rebounds. And Chase having quite a game. And the difference between Chase and Shane Battier is Chase looks to score. And you've got to guard somebody like that, and Chase is doing a nice job as a starter so far.
Chase has really flourished now since moving into that starting lineup. Batum draws a foul. He'll shoot 2.
But that time right there, you see where Chase needs to get better is on the defensive end. He was caught in the middle of no man's land. Chase has either got to set up and take the charge right there, or he's got to block the shot. He was kind of lost, and the the defense, if he's inside that restricted area, is going to get a foul called every time.
Batum at the free throw line, and he's shooting 89% from the line in his last 21 games. So this is one of the better free throw shooting teams. And as you mentioned earlier, Matt, 2 of the best in the league, 3 and 4. And Batum gets both free throws. Martin brings it up, gets around Matthews, and Budinger's wide open at the 3-point line, and he missed.
That's all right, though. He got the shot. He shot it with confidence. You're not going to make every one of those shots. As a matter of fact, if you're a 40% three-point shooter, you're going to miss 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's how do you react to the misses that's important.
Well, it's the same thing, we talk about in baseball. You can go, 3 for 10. You're going to fail 7 times and hit 300. Scola gets the rebound on the miss. Lowry brings it up the court. He'll fire, and he misses. So he was going to test the water, see if he was still hot.
That was not a good time to do that, though. When you've got a lead like this, continue to do what you've been doing.
Chuck Hayes, great defense. Batum is wide open.
There's too many possessions in the NBA game to go away from what's been working for you.
Batum with 15 points. 61-49, Houston down to Scola. Scola's got Camby. They get a double team on Luis. Swinging around to Bud. Back inside to Hayes. Hayes draws the foul. He'll shoot 2. If I had to pick an MVP this season, and I'm talking about from the start of the season to right now, I'd have to pick the Chuck Wagon. I think Chuck Hayes is the most valuable player on this team at the moment.
Well, you saw good passing by the Rockets there, and Chuck has become an offensive threat. He has really worked on his game. He's got really nice moves with either hand around the basket. His free throw shooting has gotten better this season. We all know that he's an excellent one-on-one defender in the post, but I think you're onto something there, Bill. Chuck has had quite a season.
Well, in that game that Portland won when Aldridge had the great game, Chuck Hayes did not play in that game. So the Rockets really have to have him down in that post playing defense.
And he's guarding Aldridge, and Aldridge still has 3 points.
Matthews giving it up, gets it right back, puts up the J, short, tipped outside. Matthews comes away with it. Fresh 24 for Portland. Miller and Lowry. Miller shoots that jumper on the baseline, short. Ball is tipped out of bounds by Houston.
Andre Miller is one of those rare point guards who's probably best on the post. He's got a real nice post-up game. But Kyle Lowry is probably one of the best post-defensive point guards in the league.
Batum with a miss. Tipped up by Camby, tipped up again, and the rebound finally goes to Hayes. Boy, they had enough opportunities to score. Whoa, boy, that's too tough a pass by Lowry. Scola gets it back, lays it up and in. How did he get that ball up and in the basket?
Well, he shot it with his left hand, which is his offhand. But I liked the pass. I thought the pass from Lowry off Bud's head, off the backboard to Scola was great.
That's a new play that Rick's put in. Aldridge comes inside. Lowry comes over to help out on the double team. He has to give the ball up. Batum goes around 2 Rockets, Budinger and Scola, before Scola fouls him.
And Rick Adelman's talking to his teammates to switch that. Now here's the pass again. Bud's not even looking for it. Right off of his shoulder, off the backboard, over to Scola.
And the Rockets get the turnover. Does Bud get an assist? No, Scola dribbled.
You get the hockey assist.
That's right, the first pass, huh? There's Batum trying to stay with Lowry. Now Scola will have it at the post-up. Camby giving him a lot of room. 12 seconds on the shot clock. They're chasing Martin all over the court. And that's a tough shot, won't go. Camby. Aldridge got it deep this time. You can't let him get it that deep. Aldridge now hits only his second basket of the game. He's got 5 points.
And Rick Adelman's yelling at Luis. He wanted, I think Chuck Hayes was expecting help from Luis on that play and did not get it.
Scola, backdoor pass to Bud. My goodness, Budinger is really blossoming into a nice player. 14 for Bud and Scola with 14, 12 for Martin and 13 for Lowry. Aldridge to Miller. Back over to Matthews. Misses. Tipped in the air. Another offensive rebound now for Portland. And inside, good job by Hayes to knock it away. Lowry, little crossover move, gives it up to Chuck. Chuck trying to go backdoor. Boy, he had Martin, too, for a layup.
Yeah, if Aldridge wouldn't have deflected that pass, Martin would have had another layup. Active hands, you have to have active hands on defense, and those deflections are part of your defense. Coaches track that throughout a game. How many deflections do we have?
5:55 left to play here in the third quarter. Martin and Matthews. Matthews put it off Martin's foot. Ball is tipped out of bounds by Portland. Rockets will have 5 seconds now to get off the shot. That Batum has those long arms. I'll tell you, he's some defensive player.
Yeah, he's got quick feet, very, very explosive, and those long arms. You're not used to playing against a guy with arms that long.
5 seconds. Lowry on the drive, lays it up, got it. That's twice now Lowry has gotten the ball through the basket as the shot clock goes off. And Kyle Lowry with 15 points. The Rockets bump the lead back to 17. Camby Goes down on the baseline. Good pickup by Houston. Hayes. Aldridge got it.
Yeah. Chuck Hayes let him get too deep. Aldridge did a really nice job posting up there. He didn't blow the seal, and he was able to get the basket.
That's very important. Scola up and in. Well, Lewis just drives you crazy for trying to guard him. Those nights when he's got his jump shot going and incorporates a scoop with it, you're in trouble.
Unstoppable. I mean, how do you guard him?
All right, they're going to go to Aldridge more now. I think they heard you say that.
And that's why you got to go to him.
Yeah.
I mean, Aldridge has got a post-up game. He's so long that you can't affect that jump shot that he has. And now he's gotten a little bit of strength to his game as well.
That's 3 baskets in a row for LaMarcus Aldridge. Lowry turns the corner, back outside. Kevin Martin from deep. Kmart for 3.
That's easy money there. I don't know what Wesley Matthews was doing coming off of Kevin Martin in the corner. You never come off the three-point shooter in the corner there.
Inside to Miller, and he's fouled by Hayes and 1. Well, you don't come off Martin because we know he scores 23 points a game, but he's also a 40% three-point shooter.
Here it is. Now watch. See, there's the help. He came off of the three-point shooter. You cannot leave someone who's shooting 48% behind the arc in this last week.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be on the scouting report. So, you know what? You got Martin. Just don't ever leave him.
Well, they were doubling him the whole game in the first half, but the rest of the Rockets were hitting. And Miller puts it up and in. 10 of 12 from the free throw line for the Blazers. Rockets are 6 of 8. The Rockets only been to the line 8 times. But they have 9 more field goals than Portland.
Zone for Portland here. It was effective for a couple possessions in the first half, and they're going back to it.
And Hayes puts it up and in. Chuck Hayes has become enough of an offensive threat now that you can't go off and leave him. Used to be teams never guarded him. Can't do that anymore.
Now he's looking for a shot. He's the zone buster, Bill.
Lowry is called for the foul. That's the first foul on Kyle Lowry and the 14th foul on the Rockets.
Chuck found the soft spot in the zone right there, and he goes up with the left hand. Good finish.
Aldridge and Batum, 2-man game, and Chuck draws the charge.
Okay, so Chuck, we want you to guard LaMarcus Aldridge, all-star forward, and you got to do it one-on-one. And also, can you go over and help Bud on the drive there and take the charge? If you could do that, that'd be great. And he can. What a defender Chuck Hayes is.
Aldridge may still get his 22 points tonight, which is his average. But he's got 9 right now, and he's had to work hard. You can get your average on Chuck Hayes, but you're going to work 2 games in order to get it for 1. Ooh, Martin. Boy, he took that about 5 feet behind the three-point line, and he went down for a moment. Here's Miller taking it inside. Miller back out to Wallace. Wallace in the game and hits a 3. Gerald Wallace. On the season, Wallace only a 34% three-point shooter, but he can hit it. Lowry gets it up to Bud. Bud fires short. 2:51 left to play in the quarter. Double team on Miller. Wallace is open again. Wallace hits again. Well, Rick Adelman's calling a timeout. He's going to have to change that defense. You can't leave Gerald Wallace open. Back-to-back threes for Wallace. And just like that, Portland back in the game. Well, speaking of battle in L.A., the Rockets will be taking on the Clippers tomorrow night in Los Angeles. And that will be a battle. Blake Griffin and company. Well, Gerald Wallace with a couple of threes back-to-back now. It's down to an 11-point game. Rockets in a different situation tonight. They've been the comeback kids. They've returned from double-digit deficits in 5 of their last 7 victories. But the Rockets have the lead now and have to protect it.
And remember, the Blazers were in a zone, and they're still in the zone now here. The Rockets have got to figure out how to get the ball into the paint against this zone.
8 seconds on the shot clock. Courtney Lee giving it up to Hayes now. Hayes back to Courtney Lee for the layup. Boy, what patience.
The way you beat a zone is you got to penetrate that zone either by driving it in and kicking it or by passing it in. And that was an excellent cut by Courtney Lee.
Only the first basket of the game for Courtney Lee. Aldridge down at the post. Takes it to the middle. Throws it up and gets a whistle to help him out.
Yeah, that was a bailout call there. Chuck Hayes not happy at all. Chuck Hayes sliding his feet as Aldridge goes to the middle. I don't see the foul at all.
Well, he lost the ball on his hip.
If anything, he took 3 steps and it was a travel. When you're a great player like LaMarcus Aldridge and you're a great scorer, you don't really need the help of the officials to put up big numbers. But it seems like in this league, the All-Stars do get all the calls.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I would have voted for him for the West. I thought he should have been on the All-Star team.
Absolutely. I'm calling him an All-Star because he is, in my book, this season he's having an All-Star year.
Yeah, David Stern named Kevin Love, and I see no fault in that.
Yeah,
he took Yao Ming's place.
Too, yeah.
But they should have found a place for Aldridge. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Giving it up to Scola. Scola banks it in for 2. Rockets have run that shot clock down to 3 seconds on their last 2 possessions to get an easy basket.
Well, the Blazers are playing a pretty good zone, and the Rockets are having to be patient to get their shot.
Steal by Hayes. He's got Kevin Martin ahead of him. Put the wrong spin on the basketball. It spun away from Martin. And Hayes has it. Now the Rockets will pull it out and set up the offense with 1:12 left to play in the quarter.
Now they got him in a man-to-man.
Kevin Martin. 7 on the shot clock. Down to 6, down to 5. Martin gets it in the corner. Courtney Lee again at the buzzer. Boy, 3 straight possessions. The shot clock right down to the final second.
Courtney Lee is shooting 43% from behind the arc this season. He's having a heck of a year shooting that ball.
Look at the points off turnovers. Rockets with a huge edge.
Rockets defense has been good tonight.
There's Courtney Lee on Brandon Roy. Back outside to Gerald Wallace. This time Scola gets out to get him. Steal by Houston. Here go the red jerseys. 3 on 2. Lowry waiting for Scola. Gets it right back. Rockets will take a few ticks. Lowry uses Hayes for a pick. Over to Scola. Scola draws a foul. It almost went in. Oh, look at Scola. He said, how did that ball stay out?
Well, he's 9 for 10 tonight, Scola is. So he's having one of those nights where everything he throws up is going in. He almost gets the 3-point opportunity. And he's learned this ball fake, good ball fake, and then there's the contact by Gerald Wallace.
Rockets have not been to the free throw line. This will be free throws number 9 and 10 for Houston. Rockets average 26 attempts a game. So they're 16 below their attempts. They're 20 of 26 as a team. Portland is 18 of 22. Both teams under their averages tonight. Scola gets the second. 8-2 Houston run here in the last 2 minutes. No shot clock. Final 10 seconds. Brandon Roy will pull the trigger. Wesley Matthews takes it inside, puts it up short. Oh, and he got bailed out by a whistle.
They said he got him with the hip. But I'll tell you what, the Rockets defense has been very, very good tonight. Remember the second half of the game against New Orleans. In New Orleans, the Rockets really picked up their defense. Tonight, they're picking up their defense. Let's see if there's any foul anywhere, and there is absolutely no contact. No contact at all on that play. 2 free throws that should not have been shot right here.
Well, the referee, again, is not in position. He's behind the play. So, to him, maybe it looked like there was contact. But if you don't see it, don't blow the whistle. 1 second for Houston. And Courtney Lee had it and lost it. So a good quarter for the Houston Rockets as they outscore Portland in the third, And the Rockets go to the final 12 minutes, leading it 83-68. Here we go to start the fourth quarter. Main tournament on March 26th and 27th. To register, call 713-758-7463 or go to Rockets.com. What'd I miss?
Well, Brandon Roy missed a jump shot, and I would expect that the Blazers will be going to Brandon Roy down the stretch while Aldridge is taking a rest right now on the bench.
Scola has the ball stripped out of bounds, and the Rockets get it back with 8 on the shot clock. Brad Miller checks in now for Houston, and Chuck Hayes will come out. Great job by Chuck. 29 minutes. He has 5 points, 5 rebounds, but he's held Aldridge to 11.
Throwing 3 steals for the Chuck Wagon, and he's had quite a night. But he's going to get a little rest while Aldridge is on the bench.
Kevin Martin going to his left. He likes that jumper. When he goes to his left, I'll bet he shoots.
Well, that's
10% better.
Yeah, at least. And that's every right-handed shooter going left is going to be easier because you don't have to square your shoulders quite as much.
Batum in the corner. Too hard. And Scola with the rebound. Lowry on the perimeter. Gets it as he turns the corner, and he just abuses Patty Mills. I'll tell you, Lowry's coming off his best all-around game. He just abused Chris Paul.
Yeah, and he played 44 minutes in that game against Chris Paul. And Kyle Lowry, he hasn't come out here in the second half.
You know what I liked about that game in New Orleans? Mills puts it up and in. The officials allowed them to have contact on both ends. And Paul tried to fall down a couple of times and did not get a whistle. He and Lowry really battled each other.
Well, if you fall down on the floor, whoops, there's a travel. Yeah, Lowry shuffled his feet right there. But if you fall down on the floor, is it a foul?
No.
No, of course not. But we're seeing that in the NBA where guys are just falling down and getting calls, and we got to get that out of our game.
Now, with Hayes going out of the game, they're going to bring Aldridge in. See if they can get him going. Now, who's going to take him? Miller?
Well, Miller's got him. I would expect that Chuck Hayes would come right back in. This is not your best defensive team as far as your forwards and your centers go right now with Scola and Brad Miller.
Wallace takes it inside, goes to Batum for 2. So that part of the Rocket strategy is double teaming but leaving Batum open, and he's got 17 points, but the rest of the Blazers do not. And 2 for Lowry, and he says, take that.
Man, Kyle Lowry is a tough customer.
Boy.
Patty Mills has got nothing for him. He sees he's got Patty. He's just going to go straight to the basket. He's going to jump into him, get the contact, finish it. And then I love the reaction from Kyle Lowry after the finish. Get that little guy off me.
Hey, we're on the Armed Forces Network tonight, right?
We are.
Well, let me tell you, they don't have foxholes anymore. But if I was going to war, I want this guy in my group.
Well, it's his 6th double-double of the season, and I'm with you, Bill. If you're in the foxhole with Lowry, I'm going to come get in that same foxhole.
I feel a lot better. If he had my back, I'd feel really good. Rockets up now, 89-72. Brandon Roy gets a double team. Wallace keeps swinging it. Patty Mills shoots it. Rattles won't go. And Portland now is 6 for 13 behind the arc. Deflection on a bad pass. And that's the 9th turnover by Houston.
Well, Portland is a very good defensive team. The Rockets have outscored them quite a bit here, but that doesn't mean that they're not a good defensive team.
Aldridge gets a double team. They swing it around to the other side. Now Gerald Wallace with the basketball. 4 on the shot clock. Patty Mills has it. Trying to get open to shoot. Great defense. Courtney Lee shut him down. 24-second violation on the Blazers. Can you play better D than that?
Well, I don't think so. Unless you play 25 seconds of good D.
They may have done that. The ball still hasn't touched the rim.
Well, Rick Adelman staying with his offensive big men here. Giving Chuck Hayes a pretty good rest.
There's a foul on Batum. That's his 3rd of the game. Rockets holding on to the lead. 8:55 left in the game. For tonight's Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment, we go back to April 30th, 2009, Game 6 of the Rockets and Blazers playoff series. Rockets clinch with a 92-76 victory at Toyota Center. For the playoffs that year, Artest had 27 in that game. Yao had 17. Brooks had 13. For the playoffs that year, Yao, Brooks, Artest, Wafer, Battier, and Landry were the high scorers for Houston. Look at that.
Now here's your starters for the Rockets. Shane Battier gone. Yao Ming gone. Ron Artest gone. Aaron Brooks gone. The only guy left is Luis Scola. I'm looking for the Blazers. LaMarcus Aldridge and Brandon Roy were their two starters. And Roy is coming off the bench for the Blazers now.
Courtney Lee hooks it up and just missed it. LaMarcus Aldridge with the rebound. Patty Mills brings it up in a hurry. Goran Dragic now giving Lowry some minutes on the bench. Dragic playing with 3 fouls. Brandon Roy picked up by Courtney Lee. Doesn't take long for things to change in the NBA. The Rockets have had so many injuries. So has Portland. Look at that defense on LaMarcus Aldridge. Quickly to Dragic. Goran picked up by Batum. Dragic down the baseline. Trying to get it to Scola, turns it over, and then fouls.
Yeah, another deflection there by the Blazers. They're a very long team. They got long arms. They get their hands on a lot of basketballs. And Dragic picks up his 4th foul.
Yeah, he's got 4 fouls, couple of turnovers, and he's still trying to, I think, figure it out, the system offensively, as he now will guard Miller. Roy gives it back to Miller now. 7:57 left to play in the game. Miller got it back to Wallace. Look at the defense by Houston. Batum down to 5, down to 4. Brandon Roy has to take a contested shot.
Yeah, the Rockets defense has been impressive. I mean, we're talking about guys that aren't great one-on-one defenders out there on the court, except for maybe Courtney Lee and Dragic, but they're playing great as a team.
Scola with a scoop. It's 100%. Luis 10 for 11 tonight. He's got 21 points.
His scoop is second to none.
He's the superintendent. Batum taking it inside for 2. Now the Rockets will get the ball back, but Portland can't afford to trade baskets now. And the Rockets, if they can just protect it, get a good shot. There's Budinger, backdoor pass. He couldn't handle it.
That was a good pass. Bud just didn't catch it.
Miller back the other way on offense. Scola and Aldridge. Aldridge puts it on the floor. Back to Batum. Batum arches it up and in. Nicholas Batum with 22 points.
Well, if you're not going to double off of Batum, then you can't lose him on defense. If you're going to go double, that's one thing, but you got to stay with him if you're not.
Miller called for traveling. Still plenty of time left, so the Rockets will get Lowry back in the game to run the offense. Here comes Hayes. You're leading 91-77, but the Rockets had a 13-point lead on Portland back in Houston in the 4th quarter with about the same amount of time left, and Aldridge brought them back.
See, the Rockets have turned it over 5 times this quarter. That's not going to win you basketball games.
Brandon Roy working on Courtney Lee. Back to Wallace. Sets for 3. Off the mark. Budinger with the rebound. And for Chase, that's rebound number 6. Got 14 points. 6 minutes left to play in this game. Lowry giving it up to Miller now. Shot clock down to 7. Budinger puts it up short. Oh, Courtney Lee gets up on the trampoline for 2.
Who is boxing him out?
Nobody.
Nobody.
And a foul is called on Miller. We have a timeout taken by the Trailblazers. 5:40 left to play in the game. The Rockets have been on top since the start, leading at 93-77.
Or tonight.
Can't do it today or tonight. They won't be open. Jack in the Box will be.
Yeah, that's out of those three. You can, maybe tomorrow you can go do that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, right now the Rockets have got to finish this last 5 minutes and 40 seconds. They've got their starters back on the floor along with Courtney Lee in place of Chase Budinger for defensive purposes on Brandon Roy.
Going to go to Aldridge again. Hayes has got him one-on-one. So far they're not helping now. Lowry comes over. Miller's open on the baseline and hits. That's the little wrinkle Portland has put in.
Well, Andre Miller, he's not your typical point guard. He's not a three-point shooter. And he finds little 15-foot jump shots all over their offense.
How about the shooting, Matt?
The Rockets 60% for the game. They were 78% in that third quarter.
Lowry on the outside. Shot clock down to 5 seconds. Kyle turns the corner. Kyle lays it up with a... Oh, what a shot by Kyle Lowry. 21 points. Wallace runs right over Courtney Lee.
Not only that, but he made Courtney Lee pay the price. He's still hurt. Let's go back to Lowry. Off the pick, takes it inside with the left hand high over Aldridge. You got to get it way up over him. What a finish. But then as the Blazers came back down to the other end, Gerald Wallace makes Courtney Lee pay the price.
They call that foul on Courtney Lee.
Yeah,
he got in front of a steamroller, I guess.
Run over.
Wallace would be a good tight end, wouldn't he? Well, Charlotte wasn't going anywhere. Joe Prisbilla, who's very popular here, was one of the players traded by Portland. And he's already said he'd like to come back and finish his career here. And Wallace gets 1 out of 2. So the Rockets now with another possession. Under 5 minutes left to play. 95-80. Rockets 15-point lead. Lowry turns the corner. He's been very patient. Shot clock down to 7, down to 6 again. And a whistle away from the ball. And a foul is called on Miller for holding Scola.
Well, Scola, even though he was out of the play, he's still trying to get in position for that rebound. He knows he's got the point guard on him. That's what I love about Scola, is he never gives up on anything.
Both teams with 3 team fouls, so they each have a foul to give before the penalty goes into effect. And the Rockets just taking a little time off each shot clock. There's Martin. Back to Scola. Sets up Courtney Lee for 3.
Wow. That's just great ball movement right there. That's taking what the defense gives you. And all 5 Rockets really playing well together right now.
Courtney Lee 2 for 2 from 3. And a foul on Aldridge. It's just not giving LaMarcus any room to breathe at all.
He's 4 for 10 tonight, Aldridge is. He's got 11 points. He's really having to work for a shot. Look at that crossover by Kevin Martin. Kick it to Scola. Over to the wide open Courtney Lee in the corner. We know Lee's shooting over 40% from the three-point line this year. That's winning basketball right there.
He's number 8, Matt, in the NBA. 44%. Aldridge will get 1 more.
And the Blazers, they've got to make free throws if they want to have any chance to get back in this game. And Wallace went 1 for 2 on the previous 2 shots, and Aldridge misses that first one.
Portland gives up only 95 points a game. That's good for number 9 in the NBA. And the Rockets have already scored 98, and we still have 4 minutes left to play. Up ahead to Courtney Lee. Now the Rockets just want to milk a little more clock. The Rockets have become a very patient basketball team, and they execute Rick's offense so well that they usually get a basket even though they don't start it. And there's going to be a foul on Wallace. That's a good call. A late whistle, but Hayes would have gotten the pass off had he not been fouled. That's the 4th team foul on Portland, so both teams in the penalty the rest of the way. That's tomorrow night in Los Angeles. Blake Griffin. Have we heard anything about him this season?
I heard he was pretty good.
And getting it back is Lowry.
Set
5 seconds on the shot clock. Lowry stops, leans in, and a 24-second violation on Houston.
Well, that was discombobulated right there. But with the Rockets having a 17-point lead, you can handle one of those if you need to. But the Rockets got to continue to do what they're doing on the defensive end. I've been impressed by the Rockets defense. Last couple games.
But how is that when you give up your best defensive player in a trade? Supposedly, Shane Battier was supposed to be your best defensive player. You give him up. Aaron Brooks was not a great defensive player, but the Rockets defense has gotten better. There's Aldridge slamming it home. That's the easiest shot he's gotten in this game. Hayes has made him work for everything. 3:15 left to play. 98-83. Rockets got to keep making them.
They switch again.
5 seconds down to 4. Lowry from the outside short. And the rebound to Hayes. And is tipped out of bounds by Wallace. So the Rockets get another possession with a fresh shot clock. Timeout on the court. 2:59 left to play, and the Rockets going for their 6th road win in a row. Rockets up by 15 points. 2:59 left. Dunker, log on to Rockets.com. Well, all you heard after the trade was the Rockets had given up on the season. I mean, the talk shows in Houston, all the bloggers, everybody on the internet,
all the so-called experts.
The so-called experts, but nobody told these players, Matt. You know, that's the amazing thing about professional sports. Kevin Martin, NBA Player of the Week, going for NBA Player of the Month, as he's got 20 points. 21 for Lowry. 21 for Scola. Rockets can get to 500 now. And that's the first time since they were 16-16 on New Year's Eve. And there's a charge on Portland and on Gerald Wallace.
Let's go back to the last shot by Kevin Martin. He loves to go left. Good pick there by Scola. He's got the big man on him. Just cross over, get a little space, knock down the three. The Rockets are 8 for 20 for 40% behind the arc tonight.
Best shooting game was in Memphis earlier this year. Rockets shot 59%, and that's where they are right now at 60%.
Well, the Rockets are 8-0 when they shoot better than 50% this season.
I think most teams are.
That's a very good telling stat.
You don't have much defense if you shoot 60% and lose. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Martin's wide open in the corner, and he missed, and Wallace. You know, nobody, as we go back to what we're talking about, nobody told the players that the season was over. Nobody told Rick Adelman and his staff. Boy, they've done a heck of a job of coaching up a couple of new faces they have now.
Wow.
I mean, this is an amazing thing, and I've been in this Rockets organization now for a long time. And this team was supposed to shrink up and go away. There's Chuck Hayes putting it up and in. But this is a bunch of tough-minded guys.
Yeah, these guys,
they really are tough.
A lot of pride. They're professional athletes, and Courtney Lee and Chase Budinger are getting more time, which I think is making this team better.
Yeah, I think Courtney Lee coming off the bench getting more minutes. Patrick Patterson tonight did a great job. We haven't seen any more of him, but that's because Scola and Hayes have played so well. But he set a tone when he was in there in the second quarter.
Yeah, he better be ready to go tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Chuck Hayes has played a lot of minutes. He's played 33 minutes tonight. Patrick's going to maybe have to take some time on Blake Griffin.
Kyle Lowry misses, but he took off a lot of clock. Under a minute left to play. So the Rockets are going to win their 6th road game in a row. The Rockets have become, Matt, a better road team than they are at home. I mean, that's amazing. Rockets going into this game, we're 14-18 on the road. They'll now go to 15-18 on the road.
Yeah, if you're going to be a good team, the goal is to go 500 on the road. The Rockets are almost there. And how about the Portland Trailblazers? The Trailblazers are 20-9 at home. The Blazers are a tremendous home team.
And New Orleans was 20-8 at home.
And the Rockets have went into both places and come out with very, very good wins. I thought maybe the Hornets win was the best win of the season. I'm thinking now tonight might be the best win of the season.
I think so. Well, the subs are in the game. Luke Babbitt gets his first basket. Lowry comes out playing 40 minutes. You're going to have him for our post-game guest, right? Kyle Lowry?
Yes.
He usually heads straight to the locker room, so you better get over there.
Yeah, I better make sure we get him before he goes off the ice down for tomorrow night. How about Scola playing 40 minutes on a sprained knee?
Patrick Patterson, baseline jumper. He missed it. And look at Hayes running down. Boy, Hayes looks fresh. 34 minutes for Chuck. And the Rockets just keep impressing people. Rick Adelman returns to the city where he lives and where he coached his first 6 years, and Rick gets another victory. This was a big one now, as Portland has lost 2 in a row. The Rockets have won 5 in a row, and their 6th road win in a row. So the Houston Rockets coming alive here down the stretch, and they want to make a bid for the playoffs, and they're getting right in the middle of it. Houston 103 and Portland 87, and Lowry is standing by.
I thought maybe your last win in New Orleans was the best win of the season. I think maybe tonight might be the best win of the season.
Every win is the best win for us. You know, we need every win that we could possibly get. You know, now that we're back at 500, we got to try to keep building on it.
How about Scola playing 40 minutes tonight on a sprained knee?
And, man, that is incredible. You know, and he took about 4 charges. I mean, he played awesome. You know, that just shows our toughness and our team willing, our way to grind games out and play hard.
Tell us about after the trades, your team seems to have picked up steam, and Chase Budinger and Courtney Lee are playing well.
Well, those guys always can play. You know, they just need the opportunity to get on the floor. Courtney's been playing awesome. You know, he started the season off really not knowing his role, and now he's picking it up and finding out how to, you know, get shots and get buckets and play. And Chase is just playing with confidence. And as long as Chase plays with confidence and as explosive and athletic as he is, he's going to be able to play against anyone.
Kyle, you're leading the team. Great win tonight. Kyle Lowry with 21 points, 11 assists, and a huge victory for the Rockets. The Rockets win 103-87. We'll be back with more right after this.
Houston Rockets hold Portland to their 2nd worst defeat at home this season, as the Rockets win it for their 6th road win in a row, 103-87. For Matt Bullard, I'm Bill Worrell. Thanks for watching, everybody, and stay tuned now for Rockets Live. It's coming up next. Here's your final take.
No time for a suitcase.